You've all heard of how amazing Emirates is. World-leading first class, amazing service, excellent entertainment, not to mention that they have the largest A380 fleet in the world. I mean, you've heard of their small criticisms here and there, like the outdated 232 business class, but I'm curious, after recently flying them, could this possibly be the worst seat on Emirates? Well, stay tuned to find out as I take one of their fifth freedom routes between Bangkok and Hong Kong for the next 3 hours in economy. Enjoy. Good afternoon once again from Bangkok's Suvarnabhumi Airport. If you've been watching my videos for some time now, I'm in Bangkok and Thailand pretty frequently. It's quite literally a second home for me. This leaves me with a huge array of airlines to try out. With that, it's common for me to get a connection flying back home to Vancouver despite there being a direct flight with Air Canada. One of my favorite cities to connect is Hong Kong, and there are tons of options with few airlines operating fifth freedom flights between the two cities. Today, I'll be flying with Emirates. Funny thing is, I actually took this exact same flight back in 2017, and it was just cool enough to take A380 for a 3-hour flight. Well, I'm back again to give it another go with my mom, to see how their award-winning service and product is flying between two cities that's not their super hub, Dubai. It took some time to get checked in, which took about 20 minutes. Emirates has a huge presence in Bangkok, with 3 or 4 380s a day between here and Dubai alone, so I'm not surprised by a huge lineup. What seemed like a bonus at the time, we were offered exit row seats when dropping our bags. I mean, what could be wrong about an exit row? I really liked the one they had on Starlux. Well, there are some inconsistencies than what you'd find from a regular economy seat that aren't as pleasant, to be honest. Well, we'll cover that once when we get to our seats. But first, which should be mentioned when you leave Bangkok now, automated gates are in the customs hall now. Yes, that means no more egregious waits in the customs lineup anxiously waiting to get to your flight. This is limited to certain countries, but regardless, if you need to see a customs officer, the line is significantly shorter now. What's also new and great about Suvarnabhumi is the new satellite concourse is finally open. I actually flew out of here 3 weeks ago prior to filming this, and it is absolutely gorgeous, spacious, and open. You take an underground metro to reach the gates. Keep in mind though that this is actually a one-way journey, so no heading back to the main terminal building. Despite that, on the other side there's a plethora of open shops, restaurants, and tons of seating. There's also a miracle lounge here too, so it doesn't feel completely isolated, but the whole space feels spacious and refreshing over the main building. Even right outside my gate is history on how the original airport was constructed in the early 2000s. This satellite concourse also took on a similar design to the original terminal to simplify the building process. It still looks amazing regardless, and one great feature, windows right up to the seating area. The original terminal has a hand railing about 2 meters away from the window. This is perfect if you want to see the behemoth I'll be flying on today, this 9-year-old A380. This and the 777 are the backbone of Emirates' fleet, literally just these two aircraft types until this year with the introduction of the A350. Enough admiring the beluga whale, and it's time to get in the boarding lineup, which was actually not as chaotic as I expected it to be, but still somewhat messy, even for the fact that we're boarding late for this huge aircraft. This flight is a continuation originating in Dubai. Everyone's offloaded, and the aircraft is cleaned, catered, and refueled. So this flight is not just made up of people finishing up their holidays in Thailand. The standard economy configuration for the A380 is 343, and my seat for the next 3 hours is 80A. And yep, this is possibly the worst thing about an exit row seat. The emergency slide takes up all of that precious foot space. The Dreamliner is in a very similar scenario, and really defeats the purpose of sitting in the exit row to begin with. There's zero storage to begin with, and the window is a hard look over the shoulder. Not very comfortable for those window views. I like the addition of the Panasonic remote, but it's in an awkward place where I accidentally pressed the buttons at least a couple times. The tray table is also in the armrest, along with the IFE screen, USB-A, and universal power outlet is by your legs in between each seat. In terms of comfort that's not compromised, Headrest is adjustable, and there's air nozzles. With the regular economy seat, everything you would need to access is conveniently located on the back of the seat. Pillows were at every seat, along with a pair of disposable headphones. On a more positive note, menus were handed out to each passenger, but literally had one meal option on this flight, which is fair and kind of not fair at the same time. Although I'm gonna have to turn down the pseudo business class offering. Maybe it's better suited on longer flights, but it's a nice touch though. But touching back on the exit row slide, I didn't have a similar issue with Starlux, as the A350 slide is a lot thinner and further away from the seat. Did I forget to mention the best thing about the exit row seat that isn't the legroom? I did. It's literally a staring contest with the flight attendants sitting right across from you in the jump seats for takeoff and landing. Maybe this is not the best seat for the socially anxious. Lucky thing, I can just glance out the window and look at my phone. But I'm still connected from the time we take off until we first land, no matter where we go with today's sponsor, Airlo. You might have heard of by now the copious amount of eSIMs that are flooding the market. This is one product I can really get behind, as it completely changed my perspective traveling and just makes it a heck of a lot easier. eSIMs are phone plans that you can use in just about every country in the world. This is done all through Airlo and no physical SIM card is required. So I just pick a great affordable plan, install my new eSIM, and when I'm wheels down in a new country, just switch to the eSIM and I'm connected right away. It's really that simple. I really wish I took advantage of Airlo's regional plan on my latest trip, as it covers a handful of countries. So no installing a new eSIM every time I hop between Hong Kong, Thailand, and Singapore, for example. Using an eSIM is something you shouldn't pass up the next time you travel, and Airlo would like to make a great offer to you, my viewers. Save 15% off your next eSIM plan when you spend $10 or more. Just follow the link in the description and use code NONREVMAX15. Don't pass up this amazing offer the next time you travel, and make getting connected a heck of a lot easier. Thanks again to Airlo for supporting my channel and making videos like this one possible. After takeoff, let's get into Emirates' award-winning ICE IFE system, which was all controlled by the remote. I really felt like this system is not exclusive to the remote, as the screen is right there. Honestly, not my favorite interface, although the massive selection of entertainment really compensates for it. The map was easy to use and is provided by Voyager 3D, and those 380 camera views are excellent, although I did see the takeoff and landing for obvious reasons. There's one too many movies to count on here, but how about the local selection for Dubai, and more specifically the Dubai police? I don't know, it just seems kind of weird. I really love that there's live TV, and the connectivity is easily laid out for the unexperienced traveler, so you shouldn't feel too left out on what you might be missing. The Wi-Fi is priced at what I'd say is an acceptable price for a long haul flight, although definitely not for short haul. And at this point, just make the texting apps free to use. The one thing that really irked me about the system is every show or movie are on individual channels, so you can easily flip through them. And with remote control holder, I accidentally changed and lost where I was in the movie a couple times. Honestly, I didn't really find this was a great feature. Maybe you, the viewer, has more of an explanation on why Emirates decided to put entertainment on separate channels, but I digress. It's finally time to eat an hour before we land. The turbulence is always pretty rough in this part of the world, and with that, the meal was served pretty late into the flight. With these tray tables, there's a latch that you can use to extend to make the surface fully flat, but it isn't completely flat, so I used a tinfoil that came from the meal to close the gap. Speaking of the meal, this was massaman chicken with som tam, or Asian cold slaw as they like to call it, and coconut tapioca pudding. Not to mention the Kit Kat and even more chocolate was served. But due to the late meal service, there were no drinks on offer, although the orange juice and water was just fine. Overall, it was actually a pretty good meal for outstation catering. Now, something I was expecting to be in rough shape after a few uses, but was actually in a really good state, the lavatory. I really love the wood finishings on the walls and the counters. Very stylish, but it's not sacrificing the need for it to be practical. The sanitary wipes are excellent for long haul journeys this aircraft normally takes, so you aren't too sticky or smelly. I really wish more people took advantage of that. But this is probably one of the best economy lavatories I've ever been in. Waiting for the galley cart to go by and slowly descending below the clouds into Hong Kong, now is a good time to talk if this seat is worth the extra cost or not. Well, since this was a complimentary upgrade, I can't really be too upset with it, but I'd honestly just settle for a regular economy seat next time. For this and many other aircrafts with exit row seats, I really wouldn't recommend the window. The aisle is way better suited without the obstruction, especially for those that are taller. This is a godsend. But everything else overall, the meal was great, service was alright. I say that because the crew was really pressured for time. They weren't rude or disrespectful by any means, just literally straight to business, which is understandable considering the circumstances. You know, even though this flight was on the short end for Emirates, and it's not the full meal deal you'd expect from them, I'd gladly fly with them again on this route. Maybe just not in the exit row. There's a lot of competition between Bangkok and Hong Kong on the whole spectrum. From airlines with world-leading service like Cathay Pacific, Thai Airways, and Emirates, to the unexpected like Ethiopian Airlines, or even the ultra-low-cost carriers such as AirAsia and Hong Kong Express. But I really recommend Emirates if the price is good. Not to mention, who doesn't love flying on the A380? It's the largest passenger aircraft in the skies. But that's enough for now, and it's not quite the end, as I have one more flight left on this previous trip, and no, it's not on Air Canada. In the next video, I fly on Hong Kong Airlines, now in their flagship long-haul aircraft, the A330-300 in business class. Stay tuned, and if you're interested to see what's in store for the future, consider subscribing, and feel free to leave a like. Your support and viewership is always greatly appreciated. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.